Happy Tuesday again, everybody. So we are about 10 minutes behind. I apologize. We had some technical difficulties again, software updates, things like that. Don't worry. We'll get it figured out soon and start on time. Just kidding, everyone. So we are here with Cheri Freese. Oh, sorry. I told her to throw popcorn at me, and it's okay. The Finance Director for the City of Ridgecrest. Welcome. Thank you for hanging out and laughing at us during the dead time. So why don't we jump on in and tell the viewers who don't know you, who you are, what you do, and what your favorite food is.
Sure.
We like to get to know each other around here.
So my name is Cheri Freese. I was born and raised here in Ridgecrest. I started at the city in 2014, and I've been the finance director for the last about 3 years.
Okay. What got you into the city?
I kind of fell in love with finance unexpectedly and decided to give it a shot. My mom actually worked at the city, and she retired from there before I started working there.
Amazing. Yeah. I know, like we were saying, I work at a financial institution. I don't do any of the finance stuff. So whenever I find people who do that, I'm like, bless your hearts. And your favorite food?
That's a hard one. I would have to say sushi.
Ooh.
Love some good sushi.
I had sushi this weekend, and we went to Tokyo House.
Oh, nice.
And I had the Bam Crunch Roll. I don't know if you've had that.
No, I haven't had it.
So it had red onion and cilantro. And I was like, I'm going to try it. Like, we're just going to wing it. So, but definitely, I'm all about sushi as well.
Yeah, I'm not a cilantro person, so I don't know if I could handle that one.
Really? Yeah. So I've actually heard that some people that are allergic to cilantro, it tastes like soap to them. And
I could see that.
I feel so bad for those people. Like a couple episodes ago, we were talking to the Tyrone Ledford from the community garden.
Oh, okay.
And they grow it there. And I was like, I just love all the cilantro. I love basil. And then he's like, oh, we're going to make pesto next time. And I was like, why would God throw me under the bus? Can't you just make it for me? So today we're going to talk about budget. Yep. Correct. Before we jump into that, I'm going to shout out to Eric Bruin for reminding me that tonight there is a town hall meeting at Kerr McGee, and it is open in person.
Yes.
And open to the public to attend.
Yes.
So town hall meeting, it's more, I guess, free form. People can come in, talk with the council. It's not a set agenda, correct?
Correct. Yeah, there's about 5 things that we want to stick to, but the public is more than welcome to come up and say whatever they would like to about those topics.
Okay, awesome. Good to know. So anyone watching, if you're free around 6 o'clock, 5:45 maybe, head on down there if you're interested in tonight's town hall meeting. So we're going to dive on in since we're running a little behind. Budget season.
Yay.
So how your fiscal year, everyone's runs differently. So you're coming to the tail end of your 2020, 2021?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Can you tell us a little bit about your role at the city that pertains to the budget overall?
Sure. So the department heads in the city, they're responsible for their own budgets, but I'm responsible for making sure everything lines up. And we do what's called zero-based budgeting, which is we want our revenues to match our expenditures.
Okay.
We want to have a zero at the end of it.
So everything lines up and everything reconciles correctly. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So when the department heads get their budget together, I then look at all of them together, make sure we've got enough revenue to cover all of the necessary expenses. And that can get a little rough at times.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just feel like I would get number dyslexia so fast.
Yeah, you got to take a lot of breaks.
So with that, what are some current accomplishments that's within the city and current budget, if you can talk about any of those?
Sure. So for the fiscal year 21 budget, we weren't really sure how long COVID would last. So we did a really conservative budget, but we were lucky enough to receive some CARES funding.
Oh, okay.
And so what we did with that was we made little improvements throughout the city. We have guards up in front of the windows. Our IT team did.
Such as like the plexiglass guard type things?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then our IT team, they got upgrades for our council chambers. So our video quality and sound quality and lighting quality in the council chambers is better.
Especially for all the live streaming, because
Exactly.
meetings, everything like that, were done. We're changed. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Any potential projects that you already know about coming up for the next fiscal year?
I do know that Parks and Rec is planning a lot of programs. They've made a lot of changes. We're really excited about those.
We're actually going to have Narissa on next episode from
cool.
Parks and Rec. So I see like their summer schedule is starting to ramp up. So that's part of their budget then. Exciting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one thing that this community needs, especially, everyone's been cooped up. So looking for things to do.
Yeah, and Narissa's done a great job of looking in to see, what the community needs and fixing things over there. So it's been really good.
Awesome. How did the effect of COVID and the pandemic, delay projects, hinder projects, where stuff completely like, nope, ex-nade, out of the water, not happening?
Yeah, so nobody really knew how long it was going to last. So during our last budget, we actually told council that we were going to hold off on purchasing some vehicles for the police department and Parks and Rec, and then also some street equipment for the slurry program. Luckily, the pandemic didn't hit the city as hard as it has other cities.
Right.
So we were actually able to purchase all of those, which is really nice.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. That's good to know. I guess that keeps everyone safe. And then the slurry project has been ongoing, correct?
Yes, and it will continue to go on. And they give reports about it to council every year and tell them where they slurried this last year and what their plans are for the next 5 years.
Oh, 5 years. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I figured that'd be a year-to-year thing, like depending on weather and whatnot. So interesting to know. Yeah. It sounds like end of the year is like tax season, end of fiscal year. So as I keep referring to end of the year, guys, I just found out. So end of fiscal for city is June, and
June
then
30th.
July 1 starts the new fiscal.
Yep.
So don't think I'm crazy. I've had enough coffee today, I promise. Everyone's probably like, why should I talk about end of the year? Amanda, it's May. Been cooped up too long. It sounds like it's tax season.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy. Like everything's coming in at once.
Yeah.
So
we start the process in February. And we all meet together, the city manager and the department heads and all of the analysts. We meet and figure out the big goals for the year. And then, from there on, it's working on the budget. And then May is really crunch time, and we've got to make sure we get that zero at the end.
So is it a lot of just like receipts piling up and where does this go? And
yeah, it's a lot of looking line by line at our different GL accounts and seeing what was done in the last few years and what we did last year and what we're expecting to do next year. So a lot of numbers.
So Eric's probably going to make fun of me and call me out on this. Whenever I have to do numbers and line by line like that, I have my like little trusty ruler.
Yep.
Everyone will find me. See, I'm not the only one.
Nope, you're not the only one.
It's just me. I like my ruler. I like my looking line by line. I'm not going to use a paper. So
yeah, they have these little nifty things that you can clip the paper, and then it has a ruler that you can scroll down with it. And we have a few of those, but I always stick to the ruler.
Never even heard of that. I guess I should. No, I don't want to get into that. Then they're going to make me start doing financial things here at the financial institution, at the credit union. So how do you prepare to plan each department's budget? Or is that up to the department head and then they just come to you, present it to you, and then it's presented to council? What does that look like?
So we have a conversation normally around February timeframe, and we basically talk about the big things, whether, it's hiring an additional person or a big project, say a streets project.
Okay.
Or buying a new police car, those sort of things. And then it's really up to the department head and their analysts to get all of the other things filled in, like the office supplies or the water account or those sort of things. And then once they get all of that entered, then I'll enter the salary portion of the budget. And that takes a good 2 to 3 weeks because you got to make sure everything's right. Everybody's getting the benefits that they're entitled to.
So it's a lot of double checking
Yes.
little tiny details.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess from the public side, we don't see all of that. Like
Right.
we're not thinking you're taking paper clips into account in a budget. I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like I like my specific pens, and so I feel bad here when I have to order that. I'm like, is that in the budget? I just like my clicker pens.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we have a pretty lean budget, so we really have to watch everything we spend it on. So we try to be really conservative about everything.
okay. Can you give us some examples, like maybe a specific department, how it would run down? You said you meet with the city manager as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So tomorrow, actually, we're meeting with the Parks and Rec department. So
Okay.
We'll sit down with Narissa and Jen, her analyst, and we'll go pretty much line by line and say, do you really need this?
And this is from the previous year going
No, this
into
is
the
for
next
current
one?
year.
Okay.
We
Okay.
do talk about previous years because we do have an estimate. So they estimate what they're going to spend by the end of the year. And so we review those, and then we also review what they're requesting for the next year's budget. And we just kind of, go line by line and figure out, make sure that everything's accounted for and then there's not too much extra.
So kind of like a whole day process with one department?
A few hours for sure, yeah.
Jeez. I don't know how you guys do that. Lots of coffee?
Yes.
We all know I like my coffee around here. So you're meeting with her tomorrow, and then how many departments do you meet with overall?
Oh, well, let's see. There's the admin department. There's IT, police, public works, parks and rec, finance, community development. So that's 7 right there. I'm probably forgetting somebody.
Well, it sounds like you got a lot.
Public Works does have a lot there. They have the streets and transit and wastewater, and so there's a lot encompassed in the Public Works.
So a lot
department.
more falls into their department, so it's a bigger,
That one's
lots
going
of
to be
more
an all-day
lines
meeting.
for you to look at. I understand. So after meeting with all the departments and the city manager, what are your next steps? Like, are there other meetings? Like, I know you mentioned the finance committee.
Yeah. So after we have the budget pretty much finalized, we'll take it to the finance committee meeting, which is actually next Monday.
Is that open to the public?
It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's at it's in the council chambers at the city, and it starts at 5:30, and it's open to the public. Anybody can come, and we're going to talk budget, and it should be a great time.
Now, when anyone can come, are they allowed, like, I guess not allowed, but can they chime in and
Yes.
like, hey, the streets or my road is really bad. I feel like we need to slurry this again, or
Yeah, absolutely.
it's all taken into consideration.
Yeah, there's a time for public comment for things not on the agenda.
Okay.
So if they wanted to come and say something about financials that might not necessarily pertain to the budget, they're more than welcome to do that. And then when we start talking about the budget, they're more than welcome to stand up and say whatever comments or ask any questions they have.
Is it just in person, or are you still being live streamed, call in?
So it's in person, and we do have a WebEx where people can watch and call in. We are not recording them at this time, but I think that might be changing in the near future.
And WebEx, is that the YouTube watch? Same
No,
as council?
it's kind of
Okay.
like a meeting platform, so they would
Okay.
have to sign into the meeting.
Okay. And then after that, budget workshop.
Yes, so the budget workshop is going to be on June 1st
Okay.
at 5:30.
And is that one open to
Yes,
public?
That will be open
okay.
to the public in the council chambers, and we're going to talk a whole lot of budget. That's where each department comes up and they present to the council what they've done in the last year, what they plan on doing this year, any changes in their budget.
So it's not like I can walk in there and be like, can you help me with my budget?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. But the public can still come in and at that time, public comment,
Yes.
discuss their concerns or
Yeah,
suggestions. Okay. And then final approval?
So the final
How does that
approval,
work?
that's going to be on June 16th at the regularly scheduled council meeting. Basically, what we do is any changes that the council has asked us to make at the budget workshop, we'll make sure that they're made and accounted for, and then we'll ask the council for their final approval, and hopefully it gets approved on June 16th.
So changes can be either additional projects, removal of projects, anything like that.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm like, what else could they be changing? So how overall is that process? Is it open, like transparent to the public and easily accessible to them?
Yes. So our draft budget, once it's completed, will be on the city's website.
And that's the draft budget that's presented at the finance committee?
It'll be the one presented at the budget workshop.
Okay.
And there's various sections of it. So there's a more higher level, I don't care about how much you're spending on the little minutia information. And then there's also, it goes GL account by GL account to show every line in the budget.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's full transparency to everyone. And that was council website, city website?
The city website.
Okay.
Yeah. So the draft budget will be on there. And then once it's approved, it'll become the final budget, and that will also be on the website.
Can people review previous ones as well?
Yes, they're all on there.
Oh, okay. Did not know that. So that's exciting. What got you into doing this part of it? Like what interested you in finance? I know we touched on that briefly at the beginning.
Yeah, I just kind of fell in love with it. I worked at the Emmanuel Child Development Center for a while, and that's kind of where I first fell in love with finances. And so then I started at the city in 2014. I was doing accounts payable.
Okay.
And then I moved up to be the junior accountant, which was getting more involved in the accounting side of things. And then I actually left the city for about 8 months to go work at Jacobs.
Okay, on base, right?
Yes.
Base contracting? Okay.
Yeah. And then the finance director position opened up, and I wasn't even considering it, but things happened, and here I am.
Wow. Because now I'm like, just thinking about it, I'm like, man, that's so much organizing, so much like detail that I guess I've never thought about. I'll be 100% transparent. It's not like I'm thinking about it. And I know some people, it can be heated topics.
Yes.
And it's just one of those, like hearing about it and like that people working behind, getting more into it, that I don't know, it's exciting afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, man, I want to kind of be a fly and like watch you with your ruler one day. So that's really nice to know that there's somewhere I can go on there and look and relate to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Big projects. Anything of those on the table that you can talk about? Maybe.
We've got a few streets projects that will be going to council pretty soon.
Okay.
So I know that's always exciting for everybody, getting their streets fixed.
And how soon after the budget's approved, does it just depend on by need, like the streets project? Would that be first in line, or is the budget timelined?
So there's no timeline. It's for the next year. So
Okay.
It really depends on the department. So for the Public Works Department, it would be whenever they are ready to start that project.
Freedom. So again, the 3 meetings that will be open to the public regarding upcoming budget decisions, Finance Committee at May 24th at 5:30.
Yes, 5:30.
And then Budget Workshop June 1st. And that's also at 5:30 or?
Yes.
Okay. And then the final final approval at the council meeting on June 16th.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. I just wanted to make sure I had those down for you and everything. If anyone has any questions, I didn't have the live feed pulled up today, so I will refer back to them. And if anything, reach out to you and we can get answers. So thank you, everyone. I know this one was a little bit shorter and everything. Sorry again for the time delays, but thank you again for being here.
Yeah,
I
thanks for having me.
appreciate that, going over this light little budget for us. So, all right, guys, I hope you have a great evening. Be safe, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks, guys.